What's up guys, welcome back. Now in this video we're going to be talking about a few things actually. Of course with Nintendo and the rumored Switch Pro, which I love talking about because I'm excited to see it next year. And of course we're going to be talking about a few things that Nintendo has been doing changes wise in 2018 that a lot of people did not expect. And this of course also leads into the Nintendo Switch Pro discussion. So the first thing I want to make clear is that this is not quote-unquote my console, this is not Dave's console, this is not something I'm making up. This is coming from multiple different sources. Basically, we know that a new Switch is coming next year. The question that people have is the power of the device. Many people are on the fence about if the Switch Pro is going to be able to play third-party games exclusively, certain third-party games at least, and leave the old Switch behind. That is really the main issue that people have with this rumor, is that part of it right there. That's the main problem fans have with it, because they don't see Nintendo doing something like that. And for me personally, I'm not going to dismiss either possibility of it just being a marginal upgrade. I'm not going to dismiss that, just having better frame rates, higher resolution. I'm not going to dismiss that possibility, and I'm not going to dismiss the other part of the possibility of the Switch Pro enabling certain AAA third-party games to be only on that console. I'm not going to dismiss that, and the reason why I'm not going to dismiss that rumor is because that is the rumor. That is really the only rumor besides the Wall Street Journal that's going around, is the Nintendo Switch Pro would have certain AAA third-party games exclusively on the console. There's no other rumor around there. Even the Wall Street Journal doesn't specify anything about the device itself. They just said that a new Switch is coming. So the only rumor going around from Review Tech USA and the things I brought out on this channel, the only rumor going around really is that this new Nintendo Switch is going to enable AAA third-party support that is not currently available on the current Nintendo Switch. People have dismissed this rumor, but there really isn't any other rumor or information out there besides this one rumor. The only thing you have to go by is people saying, no, it's not true. So take that for what you will. But there's a few things I want to discuss about what Nintendo has done in 2018 that has changed the outlook for them as a company going forward into 2019, and why this possibly directly correlates with the Switch Pro, because that rumored console would be quite a change for Nintendo as well. So first of all, back in June, Nintendo appointed a brand new president, Furukawa, and he's made some changes, and a lot of these changes were completely unexpected and took fans by surprise. And no doubt a Nintendo Switch Pro like that would also take fans by surprise, right? So first of all, some of the changes are in how Nintendo has operated with allowing certain content and games on their console. And a perfect example of this is that Nintendo's allowing a game like Dead or Alive Extreme 3 to be on the Nintendo Switch. And this is a game that is extremely adult orientated. It has nudity, sexual themes, and it's not being censored at all on the Nintendo Switch, and the PlayStation 4 version of the game is in fact being censored by Sony, which is quite weird, right? You would think that Nintendo would be censoring this content on their console, but they're actually inviting these developers to put basically whatever they want onto the Nintendo Switch, albeit it's not always the best idea. You see some of these games on the eShop, a lot of these games are just really poorly made. So, obviously quality control is an issue for Nintendo Switch on the eShop, but besides that fact, they are allowing games they said they would never allow before, like Night Trap, for example. Nintendo in the 90s said that they would never allow a game like that to be on a Nintendo console, and here it is on the Nintendo Switch. We have Night Trap, and now we have Dead or Alive Extreme 3 coming next year as well on the Nintendo Switch, another game a lot of Nintendo fans never thought they'd see on the console. We have Mortal Kombat 11 coming on the Nintendo Switch, and a Nintendo console hasn't had a Mortal Kombat game since 2007 on the Wii on their home consoles with Mortal Kombat Armageddon. So a lot of changes going on, but also in their policies. We just saw Nintendo end their creators program for YouTube, completely ended it. They're not going to be charging any money for creators to put their content on YouTube and claiming it for their own. They're not going to be doing that anymore. And they're also going to not be putting copyright claims on YouTube creators' content for their own games on YouTube anymore. And a lot of fans love that fact, including myself, but it also allows reviews of games to be done a lot easier for certain people without getting a copyright claim by Nintendo. huge change, gigantic change, and it really signifies a huge shift in Nintendo's policy, obviously by the new president Furukawa. And another big change that Nintendo brought out, which Smash JT brought out in his video, which I'll leave a link in the description, is that Nintendo has changed their DRM policy for games that you own to be played on multiple different systems. So you can play games that you own on the Nintendo Switch and on another Nintendo Switch that you own, as long as you're not playing the same game at the same time. Nintendo has never allowed that before, and now this year they have enabled that ability, which is huge, which allows people to buy multiple Switch consoles and allows them to enjoy their games. Say, you know, if they're playing one game on one console and another person can play another game on another console, as long as you're accessing the same account, you can buy the game once and play it on those separate consoles that you already own. That is a great move, and it is similar to what Sony does. So outstanding change by Nintendo. They're catching up with the times slowly but surely, but big changes that people never thought they would do. And now it was revealed that Nintendo quite possibly is changing the eShop name to be called the Nintendo Switch Online Shop. So they're changing the name, which probably signifies they're going to be changing the way the shop is handled. Probably it's going to be a lot better organized, a lot easier to find games. But it was discovered that internally it looks like Nintendo did in fact change the name of the Nintendo eShop to Nintendo Switch Online Shop. And I'll leave the link in the description for that as well. So taking this all into consideration, all these changes, a lot of times what you'll see when a company makes these type of changes is that they will release new hardware to match these changes. So this makes perfect sense that the rumors do match up to the timing of these changes, and that we will be seeing a new enhanced Nintendo Switch in 2019. And getting back to the point of third-party exclusive games on this new Nintendo Switch, the reason why I don't think it's too hard to believe is because really it's up to the developer what they want to put on that system. If they want to put a game only on the Nintendo Switch Pro, they probably will have the ability and the go-ahead from Nintendo to do that, because Nintendo has let them do anything they want basically on the current Nintendo Switch, right? So they're probably not going to limit them either on the Nintendo Switch Pro. I don't see them saying to Capcom, for example, hey, you know, Capcom, bring Resident Evil 2 Remake to the Nintendo Switch platform. We would like to have it on the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch Pro. Capcom says, well, you know, we would love to put it on both systems, but honestly, if we put it on the Nintendo Switch, you know, original system, it would take us 2 years to port it. But if we put it on the Nintendo Switch Pro, it's going to take us about 3 to 5 months to port it. We really don't see a reason to put it on the original Switch, Nintendo. Let's just put it on the Switch Pro, then we can get the game out a lot closer to the original release date. What do you think about that? And Nintendo probably will say, well, okay, since you put it that way, we would like to have it on the original Switch, but since, you know, you don't think it can be done, we'll go ahead and approve that. That is definitely a scenario I can see happening behind closed doors. Remember, Nintendo also met with developers at TGS this year in September, right around when these rumors were starting. So that probably was a hot topic between Nintendo and developers concerning the limits of what they could put or what they couldn't put on the Switch or Switch Pro, for example. I really don't see Nintendo saying no to Resident Evil 2 Remake completely from Capcom if Capcom has said they couldn't bring it to one of the Nintendo Switch consoles, but they could bring it to the more powerful one. I can't see them saying, no, we don't want your game, forget it, we don't want it at all, you gotta bring it on both consoles. I just can't see them doing that. If they have the opportunity to get that game, they will go ahead and get that game. Now just think about this for a second too. In 2018, there was really only 3 big games that the Nintendo Switch was missing from third parties. I bet you can think about what those 3 games were. That would be Monster Hunter World, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm sure you would agree as a Nintendo fan, if you had those 3 games on the Nintendo Switch in 2018, this year of 2018 would have been a lot better for the Nintendo Switch, and of course it would have carried sales of the console a lot smoother throughout this admittedly up and down year. Obviously they're making up for it a lot right now at the end of the year, but during the rest of those months when the sales were a little bit slower and PS4 was outselling it, having those key games could have really helped smooth things out. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and Red Dead Redemption 2 were the biggest money makers of 2018, last I heard at least, and Monster Hunter World has sold over 10 million copies between PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And this was coming after Monster Hunter had been on Nintendo consoles for years and years and years. I believe 10 years it was exclusively on Nintendo consoles pretty much, besides some spin-off games, but basically it's been on Nintendo, and all of a sudden the mainline game went to the other consoles because they targeted more powerful hardware. And I can guarantee you that going into PlayStation 5's generation in 2020, which was not that far from now, developers are only going to be targeting even more powerful hardware. They're not going to be targeting lower powerful hardware as you go forward. Nintendo is going to have to release a more powerful Switch by that time. So all these things certainly sound good and it all makes sense, but yet again, we can't dismiss either side of it, with Nintendo releasing a more slight upgrade to the Switch or a substantially more powerful upgrade to the Switch. They may release both types. They may release a quality of life version of the Switch, which has a slight redesign, better, more comfortable Joy-Cons, a slightly better screen, and they also might release the rumored substantially more powerful Switch. Because really, when you think about it, if the Switch even was just 2 times more powerful, say not substantially huge more powerful, for example, they could actually probably get Resident Evil 2 Remake to run on that more powerful Switch. And if that more powerful Switch only got, say, 3 extra games from AAA third party, but those were the big games, the big ones, the Call of Duties, the Red Deads, the Grand Theft Autos, the Resident Evils, say they just got 3 more games like that per year, those games would make millions and millions of dollars of revenue for Nintendo that they wouldn't be making otherwise on the original Nintendo Switch if they didn't release an upgrade that had those games available to customers as an option. Because you can't tell me when you see Resident Evil 2 Remake that you don't want it on your Nintendo system. I know you do. I've talked to you guys one-on-one in private on Twitter. Every single one of you guys that watches my channel that I've talked to in private and DM, every single one of you are exactly the same. You want this system to be more powerful to run these newer games and for it to be future-proof. Obviously, the problem comes in believing the rumor, is it true or not. So that's why we're having this discussion, because we want to weigh the possibilities of every aspect of it being marginal, semi-marginal, or being substantially more powerful. And quite possibly all of that could happen. They could release multiple different variants of the Nintendo Switch, giving the Switch platform a longer future and PlayStation 5 ports. Alright guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section. It's an interesting discussion. I think we need to have it though, because there's a lot of changes going on in Nintendo, a lot of things people didn't expect. So I would continue to expect the unexpected from Nintendo in 2019, including quite possibly this rumored Nintendo Switch being substantially more powerful, but of course it could be a half step more powerful as well, but still be able to run certain third-party games exclusively on that marginally more powerful console if developers choose to. Again, it's up to developers if they want to bring their games on Nintendo's platforms or not. It's not necessarily up to Nintendo only. Nintendo has to provide the hardware to run the games for AAA third party. If they say, no, you can't have your game, come to our system unless it runs on the old system, developers, I guarantee you, would just say adios and keep not porting those games to Nintendo at all. And that's not what we want as Nintendo fans. We want all the games. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you did enjoy it, please hit the like button, subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you very soon in the next video. Have a great day.